today I want to show you a very easily way to make yourself texture paste at home to use in paintings and mixed media. We're going to use a piece of superwood. It's lying here primed already. I've got a stencil, palette knife. I've got a little bit of water. I've got a bucket to mix in my paste. I've got interior or exterior crack filler that you use to fill cracks and stuff at home. It comes in a powder and you can use the powder one. And I use wood glue for the mixing and for the adhering to the superwood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit out. I'm not going to use too much for the stencil, so I'm just going to make myself a little bit. This is my crack filler. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Don't overdo it. It's very easily to make a runny mess. Put it a little bit of water to it. Then you keep mixing it. You want almost the consistency of icing for a cake, or maybe butter. I'm just going to put a drop. I don't hope it's too much. I'll see now. Okay, as soon as you've mixed it up like this, I'm going to put a little bit of my wood glue, about a ratio of 3:1. I'm just going to pour in a drop like that. I'm going to mix it in thoroughly. You will see you need a little bit. It goes a long way. I think actually this is going to be too much, but it's alright, rather too much than that I need a little bit. As soon as you mixed up all the water and all the glue and all the crack filler, and it's about the consistency of this, you can start using it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a stencil like this. I'm going to pick up, I'm going to put it down, keep it firmly there and just press it down and smear it all over my stencil. Just be careful that your stencil don't lift. I'm not going to do the whole stencil, I'm just going to do a piece. Oops, there I lifted it, but I don't think it did something. You can even scrape it down a little bit, like I'm doing now. Then you can carefully lift it from this side and peel it off. And maybe if you feel you want something there in that corner, you can just lay it down. Pick up your modeling paste or whatever you want to call it, your texture paste, and just put it there. Now this you will need to dry, preferably overnight. Or if you live in a very hot country like I do, you can maybe go and put it outside in the sun, but don't, just not too harsh sun, otherwise it will crack a little bit. I just want to show you what I'm going to do here. I don't like that line there. So I'm gonna just flatten it out a little bit and make a little bit of texture. You can even pick up a little bit and just put a little bit of texture here and there. You can pat your knife. I'll show you now how that looks. You can scrape into it. You can actually do whatever you fancy. Mors nou lekker. There you go. This dries very hard. It stays there forever. So what you can do is, if you don't like a bit like this line here, I'm just going to soften some of my edges now. You can scrape it off. You can put a little bit of texture there maybe. I don't worry too much, because when you start to paint it, it's anyway you're not gonna see it's going away in your background, and you won't see if there's maybe something wrong that you don't like. Just scrape your sides, especially if you want to put it in a frame maybe later, and there you go. You can see there where I just patted my knife. There I've fixed up that line there. There. And I put a little bit of texture there. And that's all that you do. Now you can put it out of reach of cats that can walk over it or anything. Put it somewhere safe to dry. It's dry now. So what you can do is you can take your hand over it, and if you feel anything sticking out or something, you can take your sandpaper and just slightly go over it. Wipe it down. And if it feels softer, it's better. Sometimes there's little pieces sticking out that breaks off later on, and you don't want that after you've painted. So what I'm going to do now, first, I'm going to put a wash, acrylic wash over this. I want some of the dark areas in between here, so I'm going to use a burnt umber and maybe a little bit of purple. Okay, you can see where I put the texture, it tends to hold the paint there. It goes into the valleys, everywhere, the textures. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly let this dry. I'm going to use this for inspiration, as well as this pot. Maybe I'll change it as I go along, I'm not sure yet, but here I go. I'm going to take watercolor pencils, because they wash out easily when you start working with your acrylics. I'm going to use acrylics. I'm going to wash my brushes in water. After, if you've finished with all your work and you've washed your brushes while you are working, at the end of the session, just take ordinary dish soap and wash your brushes with that, and make sure you keep it all the hair together like that, and then you can put it in a jar. Don't put it like that inside the jar, otherwise it's going to go like that. Put it inside the jar like that and let it dry. I'm gonna use a sponge if I can find it. I'm gonna take a little bit of my I'm gonna make a blue background, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my blue and my white and a little bit of my burnt sienna, and I'm just gonna start doing my background. This will be my shadow part, and this will be my highlight side. I'm going to put a little bit more white here on the side where the highlight is coming from. I'm using the corner. I'm going to start going into my brushes now. I'm going to give a little bit of a shadow inside here for depth on my flowers. Remember, this is my shadow part. Just move this water to the side. I'm going to start with my greens for a little bit of splashes of leaves and so on. Sorry, I just want to open this tube. I'm going to take a little bit of my blue with my green to darken it slightly, and I think I'm going to put in a leaf here, overlapping my pot there at the back, maybe there. I think maybe there. I think one can look nice here at the back here, overlapping the pot there. I like to overlap my pots. As you can see there, and I've got a stem. I'm taking a little bit of my lemon yellow, and I'm just working it in here and there. Usually you use your lemon yellow for your highlight side with your leaves. I think I'm going to pop in one there as well. I've got a lot of space there. Maybe I'll try and put in another flower there. I think I'm gonna take my green, my sap green with my blue and make a stem. come in with a curve, then I go straight, and then I go with a curve again to give the pot a little bit more roundness. And slightly darken it at the bottom. Put a little bit of a cast shadow there maybe. Now I dry brush over these textures. Now I'm just going to sign my name and then I'm finished. Maybe go and do a little bit of lining, but I don't think I'm going to waste my time too much with that. I don't like that on this one now. Just making a little bit of texture in the background. I say. I'm going to bring it up for you to see. You can see there's my texture. It's running into the pot, but I didn't emphasize that a lot. I haven't got a lot of texture, maybe just a little bit there on the side. My texture is coming all the way up to here. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it.